Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Busch Gardens Williamsburg for our first ever visit. Today we're going to be taking a look at the test seats for all the major attractions in this beautiful park in Virginia and showing you how the seats work, how far they need to close for a green light, and how I personally fit in these seats so you can compare for yourself to see if you fit on these attractions. For reference, I stand at a whopping 5 foot 5 inches and weigh 275 pounds at the time of filming this video. If you find this video helpful in any way, then help us out by leaving a like and sharing it around with anyone you know who may be planning a visit to Busch Gardens Williamsburg in the future. But with all of that being said, let's get started with our first attraction of the day, Verbolten. Alright, here's a look at the test seat for Verbolten. This roller coaster is manufactured by Zierer. This is a lesser known company. I've personally never heard of them, but let's go ahead and see what the minimums are. You can see the red and green light over here. Let's go ahead and pull this down. And I don't think the green light is actually working, but I assume when the red light turns off, you're good. So there we go. Decent amount of space. Let's go ahead and sit down and see how I fit. That is a gnarly crotch notch. Let's go ahead and pull this down. And the red light has turned off. So right here, it's turned off. I could push it down more, but the important thing to know is that it rests on your stomach, not on your lap. So you would definitely need to be a little bit smaller in order for it to rest on your lap, but right about here is where it stops. So I don't really have any wiggle room to spare. So if you're much bigger than me, then you're going to struggle a little bit on this ride. It's a gosh darn shame that it is closed today, most likely for the whole day, but we are here on the off season. The park just recently opened for the season, so it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it too much. I already know we're going to be back because just based off of what I'm seeing, I'm loving the park, but this is just so you guys are aware of what to expect for the test seat. All right, our first attraction of the day is going to be Dark Coaster. This is an indoor launched roller coaster. Now, we were going to try out the test seat, but it's gone. Someone stole it. It's actually being taken back and repainted, so we don't have anything to test out right now, but let's go ahead on inside and I'll let you guys know if I fit. Okay, just got off of Dark Coaster. I fit, which is a good thing, but it did take a good solid push because when I pushed the lap bar down on my own, it was showing up as red, so he had to give me a solid push. It was a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad. It's definitely a family coaster, but it is a multi-launch family coaster. So there are two initial launches on the coaster where you have the one at the beginning and then midway through there's another one, but you think you're done, but they send you through the whole layout again. So that definitely took me by surprise, and it's very different. By no means is it an intense coaster at all, but it is super dark, so you're not going to see a gosh darn thing. You're not going to know exactly where you're going. Definitely a lot of fun, but I can see it being a little bit scary for the little ones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next attraction of the day is going to be Alpengeist. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is a B&M invert coaster, and if I fit on it, this will be the first B&M invert I've been able to fit on since I was in high school. So let's go ahead and give the test seat a try. Okay, here is the test seat for Alpengeist. This is a standard B&M invert seat. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it follows the rules of if it clicks, you go. Seatbelt must fasten to ride, but over at Hershey Park, it had to go down a certain amount. It had to get a certain number of clicks. I had the seatbelt, but it didn't go. So let's go ahead and sit down and see if it clicks. That's one, and that's two. So it clicks. Now it's just a matter of if I truly fit on the ride. So we're gonna go ahead and put our stuff in our locker now, and we're gonna hop on board. Again, this is gonna be the first B&M invert I've ridden since high school, so I'm low-key terrified, but I'm excited to swing my feet on a coaster. Let's go. All right, here we are at Invader. This is a GCI wooden roller coaster here at Busch Gardens. Here is a look at the test seat. So I can see red light over here. Let's go ahead and pull it down. All right, we are green right there. Interesting amount of space. Let's go ahead and hop on and see how I fit. All right, let's hop on in. There's a little bit of a step down, so be aware. All right, it is a little tight, but I do get the green. It's a little tight, so I'm definitely gonna have to suck it in a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna be uncomfortable, but then again, it's a wooden coaster, so I'm gonna be getting thrown around left and right. But hey, I got the green, let's go ahead and go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at Griffin. Take a look at that. We have a test seat over here. Once again, another standard B&M seat. Let's go ahead and sit down and see how I fit. In theory, if I fit on Alpengeist, I should be good on this one. One thing to note about these seats is that they kind of dip in a little bit. Like the bottom where you sit down, where your butt goes, is kind of angled upwards. So your legs are kind of tucked in a bit more. It'll make your stomach come out a little bit. So that's something to be aware of. That's something I literally just remembered now.
You have them backwards.
I have them backwards? All right, so they buckled. Again, if it's anything like Alpengeist, all I need is for them to buckle and then I'm good to go, so.
Ready?
It should be noted that I've come a long way in my weight loss journey, and I am riding a lot of these types of coasters for the first time since I was in high school. Like SheiKra, I used to ride that all the time when I was in high school, but I haven't ridden it since high school, so I forget what the sensation is like and what the feeling is of the drop and everything. So my nervousness level is a little bit up there, but I'm a big boy. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna cry the whole time. Let's go ahead and ride. All right, here we are at Finnegan's Flyer. This is an S&S Scream and Swing, a much smaller version of what we have over at Busch Gardens with Serengeti Flyer. Here's a look at the test seat. Let's go ahead on inside and try it out. I was nowhere near able to ride Serengeti Flyer over at Busch Gardens during the media event, but it has been a minute since I've tried, so we'll see. I will say the seat is definitely very uncomfortable.
Always.
The back is very hard. It's such a hard seat. Ugh. No. Nope. Not even close. That is a no-go for me, and I'm not surprised. Like, even the last time I tried it over at Serengeti, it was like out here. I mean, granted, I've lost enough weight that it comes down more, but I am nowhere near being able to fit on this thing. Not that I was going to ride it anyways. Let's go ahead and see how far down it actually has to go. Oh, wow. Yeah. I was nowhere near close to that, but also you can see how the seat is angled. So again, instead of sitting flat, you're kind of sitting like this with your legs kind of up and out. So it pushes all of your junk forward. So unfortunately, it's a no-go, but even then, I wouldn't ride it anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, Loch Ness Monster. I have grown up seeing pictures of this coaster and always wanting to ride it, and now I am getting my opportunity. This is a coaster developed by Arrow. There aren't very many of these coaster types left, so I'm very excited to hop on board. And this thing recently got a whole retrack. So you guys know the phrase, never meet your heroes? It applies to this. I grew up seeing pictures of this ride and wanting to ride it for the longest time, thinking that it was gonna be awesome. That is my least favorite ride here. It is so incredibly rough. I have a headache now because of that ride. Like, I know it got a retrack, but good Lord, that was terrible. So shaky, so rocky, like your head bangs against the headrest the whole time. It is not a fun ride at all. This is definitely a one and done. And then to top everything else off, there's no test seat for this ride. I asked an employee if they had a test seat for this ride and she looked at me like I was crazy. So there's no test seat for this ride, but I do think it's pretty accommodating. This is the same coaster style as Rock and Roller Coaster. So if you guys are used to that over the shoulder restraint, as soon as you pull it down, it starts to click. I don't think that there's like a minimum or anything, because like as soon as I pulled it down a little bit, it started to click. So I don't really know. I wish I had better things to tell you about this ride, and I wish I was able to be more descriptive, but that's honestly the best that I got, is that there's no test seat, but you pull it down a certain amount, and as long as it locks, you're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up we have Apollo's Chariot. This is a B&M hypercoaster, very similar to the likes of Candemonium. This is Tempesto, don't pay attention to that. It's very similar to the likes of Candemonium and Mako over at SeaWorld in Orlando. Let's go ahead and take a look at the test seat. All right, here is the test seat for Apollo's Chariot. I assume you need 3 clicks and there's gonna be a little red line, so let's go ahead and pull that down. So right there, we have the red line. There's no, oh, here we go. Pull lap down as far as possible. If lap pad reaches red line, on base of support will be visible. Oh, there you go. So yeah, it needs to lock in right there. So press foot pedal to release. Interesting. So here is the gap. And again, this thing is going to rest more on your thighs than anything. So let's go ahead and hop in and see how I fit. All right, let's hop on in. So these wings over here are gonna push your fat forward a little bit, so it's gonna make things a little difficult.
I heard the tick.
I heard the tick too. So right now, this is comfortable. It's like touching me a little bit, but I would definitely want it to come down more. So I would need to lift up. Yeah. I don't know if it's only like doing the 1 click here, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's gonna click anymore, but we did get the 1 click and this is fairly comfortable. So I'm excited to ride. Like, you're definitely gonna be lifted up and out of your seat a lot on this coaster, so just be aware of that. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more comfortable than when I rode Candemonium. But then again, I was also over 300 pounds when I rode Candemonium, so there is that. Let's go ahead and hop on. All right, here we are at Tempesto. It's basically a copy and paste of Tigress. I think this one came first though. So let's go ahead and try out the test seat. So here's a look at the test seat for Tempesto. This is a Premier Rides vehicle, and as you guys know, these are very uncomfortable. It also has the stupid comfort collar. This is actually one of the reasons why we're not gonna be riding it, because I've ridden Tigress in Tampa and it is very uncomfortable. But let's go ahead and pull this bar down to show you guys. Whoop. Went, there you go. Plenty of space. Let me go ahead and hop inside to show you guys the proper way to ride. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. There's really not a nice way to get into these things. So it just turned green and you can see it's barely touching me. I have plenty of room. I could squeeze down if I wanted to for a more comfortable ride, but you do need to make sure that the comfort collar latches in over here. And so the problem with this ride is that when you get to the top and you spin, the comfort collar is all up against your neck. So it does the opposite of what it's called. But still, a pretty accommodating coaster style. It's just getting in and out that's the problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, final attraction of the night, and some argue that it is the best attraction here at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Pantheon. The test seat is right here. Let's go ahead and get a closer look. It'll probably look very familiar to a lot of you Orlando people because this is the same exact ride vehicle that we have for Velocicoaster. Let's go ahead and lower this. Where's the green light? There it is. I see it. We're gonna pull this down, pull it down, pull it down. Maybe at some point, hopefully. No? Oh, there it is. Hold up. Okay, so right here is where the green turns on. You can see it right there. Not too much wiggle room. I do fit comfortably on Velocicoaster, so let's go ahead and see how I fit on this one. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. Be aware of the crotch notch. So we're gonna do exactly what we do for Velocicoaster, and we're gonna pull and we're gonna push down from the sides.
Green.
Yep, I can see it from the corner over here. So if I let go, then it's gonna turn off. Yeah. So it's gonna be a little bit of a tight squeeze, and it's actually a little bit tighter than Velocicoaster, if I'm being honest. But I still get the green light, so let's go ahead and go. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our time at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. The park was only open from 3 to 9 p.m., so we didn't have much time at all to really get in to explore this beautiful park and take in the shows, animal encounters, or food. We did film a regular vlog outside of the testy video, but it wasn't enough to stand on its own, so we'll be uploading an extended version of this video with added thoughts and views of the park and coaster reviews to our Patreon and channel memberships. But I want to thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you found any of it helpful, then please help us out by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for absolutely free. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, and evening, and I will see you guys in the next video.